main phase was just like standing next to me, and I had no idea he was just standing there. I just turned to my left and went, oh, okay, main phase. I reckon this will be like the venue that people talk about in a couple of years' time. Like, this is the venue that started Sydney's nightlife properly again.
Yeah.
Well, back to back then, and I'm like, oh, okay, righto, sure. And then prepare for an event that I didn't know that I had coming up in like a month. Like, just turning that all on for the first time, I was like, oh, like, this is gonna be fucking sick.
That will be revealed hopefully throughout the rest of this year with what we've got planned. But
Hello everyone, welcome back to Behind the Tune, episode number 9. Joining me today are 2 event organisers and promoters out of Sydney, Jaime and Brad, who currently run Entity Sydney. How you guys going?
Good, thank you.
That's good. How's your day been?
It's been pretty good.
You guys are going to Sam Alfred tonight?
Yeah.
You excited?
Yeah.
Very keen.
So, sort of, let's start off with Entity. Like, what was your motivation? I guess, actually, let's start off with how you guys met. Are you guys friends from, like, high school? Or, like, you just sort of met on a night out? Like, how'd you guys meet?
Interestingly enough, Jamie's only been a part of Entity since about the start of the year. So,
oh, shit.
Initially, I started Entity with another DJ by the name of Hotshot, and that was, even though we've recently celebrated 1 year, the idea for Entity was around for much prior to that.
Yeah, right.
So, and it was just COVID and everything that really got in the way of getting it up and running sooner. But yeah, me and Jaime met out, really, just through mutual friends.
Yeah, right. So you sort of had the idea for Entity before COVID, and then COVID sort of put that on the back burner.
Yeah. So initially, like, I've always been drawn to the UK garage bassline scene, and at the time there was a really big demand for that in Sydney, because I noticed all the events that were most hyped, in my opinion, were those UK garage nights with people like Wafu and Interrupt playing. So yeah, I'd met Hotshot, seen him play, and it was the first time I've seen someone else who's playing like similar stuff that I'm into. And we got chatting, and yeah, figured that we could start something that would bring that whole UK rave scene to Sydney, since it was kind of lacking at the time.
Right, okay. And then sort of, Jaime, sort of, where did you sort of join in? What was your sort of like initial, I guess, involvement in Entity?
So I met Brad around about like almost a year, like start of the year, and then near Lost Sundays actually. I went to a Lost ages ago, and I was just with my mates, and one of my other mates is a promoter as well, and I was hanging with her, and then she comes and introduced me to Brad, and then Brad and I started talking and stuff like that about just DJing and our general careers and stuff like that. And then 2 weeks after that, I went to Civic Underground to watch, I think it was a Stolen Goods or a Spec. Yeah, Utz, I think it was. Yeah, Stolen Goods. And then, like, we were throughout the night just enjoying ourselves, and then all of a sudden I just went up to him and was like, we should back to back one time. Like, we should back to back. And like, me just thinking, oh, like, yeah, just go for probably a mix at his house or something and just chill out and see how our vibes are and see if we can work together. And he goes, you know what, actually, I've got an NC event coming up really soon. It's going to be like in a couple of months, like, we'll back to back then. And I'm like, oh, okay, righto, sure. And then we'll have a mix at mine, and then we'll do the event together. And this is like the first time we've actually properly spoken about music and where we are sitting as artists individually and coming together. And then eventually, like, we've started to figure out that we have similar sound, and he mentioned joining Entity, and I was like, absolutely, sure, no worries. Like, 'cause this is something I've wanted to do for a while myself as well, and pushing a different kind of sound that Sydney, like, has been lacking for a while, especially because the kind of grip that hard groove has and techno has on the whole scene itself at the moment. And I really respected Brad for trying to push something that was like different and something that would try to break the norm.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's super interesting. I thought you always like knew each other. So you've known each other for how long now?
Oh, like 8 months.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. It's been a pretty quick journey. Yeah.
Yeah, it has. I thought judging from everything, you guys have been like known each other for a bit longer than that. But it's actually pretty cool that you guys have only been known each other for like 8 months, and like Entity's already, getting up there and stuff like that. Sort of, what's your, I guess, roles, like each of your roles within the, I guess, company, or like within the promotion, or do you sort of just like share your roles and it's all very similar?
We do share a lot of roles. Generally, I'll be reaching out to artists and venues and making bookings, and I'll mostly be relying on Banner to bounce ideas off whenever I'm thinking what could work for like a lineup or just where I can see the brand going. Then I have someone as a second mind to like help with making decisions.
Okay, yeah, sort of. And like, why did you, I guess, decide to bring Jaime on? What was like your thought process behind it? Like before you asked him to join, like, well, why were you like, oh, like I think he'd be a great addition?
So for a while, the other person I started Entity with, took a step away because of work, and at the time I was kind of on my own with the brand, and there was just seemed to be too much to do to actually make any events work. So yeah, one time just out for a drink with Jaime, just saying like I could do with someone to help out, and yeah, luckily he was really keen, and it's been great having him.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine. Yeah, so like, how have you seen Entity grow since Jamie's joined? Like, what differences has he brought to like the group? I guess from you and then Jaime, what do you reckon you like brought to Entity? Like I guess you talk to what Jamie's brought to Entity first.
It's helped. Having Jaime has helped having just a more clearer conscience when making decisions about putting events together, and it's also just been a lot more fun being in it with someone else.
Yeah, right. Okay. And then Jaime, how have you sort of like, what have you been able to like sort of add?
I mean, yeah, as Brad said, like just having a clearer conscience with making decisions. Like, we have meetings all the time, like just like at one of each other's houses, just like where we want to take the brand and all that kind of stuff. So like having two minds where one of us says like, oh, this would be cool, and then the other person going, but think about the logistical side of things, and like just making sure that all the financials are in the right place, and bookings and stuff like that, just like helping Brad like write emails and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, just basically providing a second point of view on like that will work, that might not work, just making sure that like we're taking Entity the way that it has been naturally growing and the way that we want it to progress.
Yeah. Where do you want to see it though? Like what's like your aspirations for it? Because it's been going good since the inception of it, but like where do you sort of see it like ending up, or like where do you sort of want to see it go?
Well, we have seen like a pretty steady growth, and that will be revealed hopefully throughout the rest of this year with what we've got planned. But like if we reach a point where we're as a brand recognized in Sydney as a brand that's contributed something really unique and valuable to the music scene here, then I'd like to see Entity move on to being, if not running them ourselves, being involved in major festivals.
Oh, sick! Yeah, that should be interesting. So like what do you mean by major festivals? Like pitch, like all those sort of things?
Yeah, those kinds of things. Yeah, but I mean, it's still it's still early days and things can change. We're both still, as individuals, working on our own careers as artists. So we're just gonna see what we can do with Entity.
Yeah. Okay. So sort of, I guess, take us back to like that back to back. So you were just guys out, and then all of a sudden you just like said to him, "Let's do a back to back." Is that what the story is?
Yeah, like I said to him, like we were watching Oots at the time.
Yeah,
and
right.
I just said to him, like, let's have a mix, like let's go back to back one time. Just saying, like, expecting just a casual mix, like just the two of us together,
At like someone's home or something.
yeah, at like one of our houses. And then Brad just goes, yeah, absolutely. You know what? I got this event coming up, and then I started just like I went home and went, okay, sure, yeah. Like now having to prepare for an event that I didn't know that I had coming up in like a month, and just gathering the kind of sounds that I wanted to push, and like Brad obviously giving me a bit of direction, being like this is what we're gonna play, kind of thing, like kind of try and merge towards that. Like he knew my sound, but like he wanted me to make sure that I was still in the right lane, I guess.
Yeah, right. Sorry, and you were DJing before that already?
Yeah, I was DJing before that. Just like I was still in the process of discovering my sound,
right,
and like trying different things out, because obviously Brad had been in the game for a little bit longer than I had, but I was still like testing things and trying new things at all these different gigs that I was doing, like so when I eventually stumbled upon, I guess you can say stumbled upon Brad, like I kind of felt like that was my sound, that was the sound I wanted to push, and he just kind of helped me realize that, I guess. Yeah.
Sort of, how was that back to back then? Like, obviously you were nervous, I'm sure. What was your feeling going into that back to back?
Initially we were like what actually ended up happening was with that venue, that actual date, there was something wrong with the, I think, electricity on the level of the club that we were going to be taking over. So we ended up postponing that event, and that actually came in handy because it gave us a lot more time to actually mix together more and actually become a more cohesive duo.
Yeah. So did you sort of practice before that initial one, like the initial before like everything like sort of got postponed? Were you practicing before that?
We had one mix together in Felixtraw.
yeah.
Like one mix.
It was just we'll just see how it goes. But like that actual event, and went from being just a one like room takeover to like when the opportunity did present itself, ended up being like the main room of the venues. So
right. Yeah.
It was actually a much bigger and better experience overall.
Oh, so it was better at the end.
Yeah.
So it was like a blessing that it sort of got postponed.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how's like so you guys obviously DJ like individually, but like how do you DJ more individually, or do you guys DJ more like together, like back to backs?
Lately, because of the fact that the majority of events this year have been Entity, and it just makes more sense for us to be playing together. Mm-hmm. They've been back to backs, but we do still both find our individual gigs.
Yeah. Okay. So like, and you obviously play that 1 year. You had that 1 year party not too long ago. How was that? How was like that 1 year? How was it like celebrating that first year of Entity as well?
Oh yeah, it was unreal. Yeah, we teamed up with the Bad Juju collective from the Shire, and ended up putting on a pretty decent party. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So like, what was like your favorite part of that night? Like, do you have like a particular moment in that night that you sort of remember, or was just the whole night was just a cool just a cool event?
Oh, I don't think I'd have a particular moment. No, the whole as a whole, but maybe Jaime has.
Oh, I think for me it was like when we like turned off all the lights and switched on all our like all the lighting, and we bought these like retro TVs in. I think it was the Bad Juju boys who decided to bring in these like retro TVs, which were really cool. We hired this guy to organize it for us,
right?
And it was like he had these like movie, like retro movie playing on a couple of them. And on the other ones, he had like 2 cameras, one facing the crowd and one facing the DJ, which were live streaming to the other 2 TVs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and so we could see like crowd reactions, and they could see like our reactions to the tracks that we were playing, and like just turning that all on for the first time, I was like, oh, like this is gonna be fucking sick.
So
like,
you knew about it before, like
Yeah.
the actual event, like when you were setting up and stuff, you saw it.
yeah.
Right,
So like
yeah.
when it was just like the Bad Duty Boys, Brad and I, like we're all standing in the space by ourselves, and the lights were still on. And when we eventually switched it all off and switched on all the gear that we had, we were like, kind of just looked at each other like, yeah, this is it.
Is
Like,
that something you reckon you'll implement into your like events in the future? Is that something that you see like happening a bit more often, like those TVs? How big were they? Like were they like
They weren't too
like little
big.
like boxes?
Yeah, there was
like-
yeah.
5 or 6 maybe like little boxes,
Right.
and they're just strategically placed around the DJ with like different stuff happening on them, and then obviously the live streaming stuff. Like it just added to the aesthetic of the party so much, and just helped like everyone feel a part of the event, which is what I think Brad and I really like pushing, is like making the patrons of Entity really feel like they're a part of something.
Yeah. So is that something? Do you reckon you'll keep adding in? Like you'll bring those TVs back into like your next venue?
We'll definitely think about it. I mean, it's hard to say because we're moving around venues a lot. There's certain limitations to what we can do production wise, but I mean, it was pretty cool. We would definitely look into it. Yeah.
What venues do you usually? Because I've noticed that you guys do a lot of different venues. Like, what venues do you usually work with? Like, mainly.
Oh, honestly, I don't think we've done the same venue twice.
Oh, really?
It's been a kind of big cycle through all the venues in Sydney, just based on like what's available, what kind of suits the artist playing the most, and just the overall vibe of the place. But yeah, there's not a specific venue that we've
Right. So like
locked in.
you'd sort of just suss the venue out based on like the vibe or like whatever sort of event you wanna like put on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any like any particular venue that you sort of looked at and thought that? Do you sort of have plans to do like a permanent venue or like a venue that's going to be like a bunch of events on, or are you sort of just, do you like that sort of rotation where it's like just different venues each event?
I kind of like keeping it on rotation because it keeps it fresh for the people going to our events.
Yeah.
But there are a couple venues that I guess just because I'm at them more, that I would kind of have a preference towards wanting to do, and luckily one of those venues is the Abercrombie, which is where our next event is going to be at.
Yeah, right. And have you already played at the Abercrombie? Like, have you guys had an event at Abercrombie before?
No.
Yeah,
we haven't done one there, no.
Okay, yeah, because I've only heard good things about that venue. So have you guys been there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there. It's recently sort of become like, or maybe I just haven't noticed, but has it like recently become like a venue that's just sort of risen, or has it been around for like, it's obviously been around for a while, but it's like a techno event?
Yeah, I think it was, I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I think the licensing, the fact that it was a venue that could go much later than any other venue in Sydney, with the Bridge being an exception. It's started quite recently, and it's seen a pretty big rise to success. But I do remember when it started, I actually remember saying to Jaime, like, I reckon this will be like the venue that people talk about in a couple of years' time. Like, this is the venue that started Sydney's nightlife properly again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because it's had a lot of like big events as of late, and it's been sort of going off every single weekend, from what I've noticed. So like, when did you boys go there? Like, who did you guys see when you went there?
We've been a couple of times. Like,
Yeah,
I think we went
few
to.
times.
Did we go to like we went on the opening weekend to something? I
Oh,
remember
wow.
that. Yeah, and then because I think one of Brad's first sets there, because Brad's played there a few times.
Oh, right.
One of Brad's first sets there was in that few opening weeks. I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, one of the first one of the first few weeks. Yeah, that was for Undisclosed. And yeah, that was pretty fun.
I guess sort of like let's start touching on to like your guys' like DJing career and like sort of how you boys develop your sound, because I'm sure obviously we're individual now, you're sort of like a bit more collective, sort of like how have you sort of merged both your sounds together? Because obviously, as you said, you sort of had like your own sound, and then you sort of met Brad, started playing back to back with Brad, and you sort of like decided, and you've sort of like collected your sounds together. What was that like? Sort of, how have you sort of been able to do that? I guess, like, Jaimie.
I mean, there is like Brad's 23 and I'm 20, so he's been around in the scene for a bit longer than I have. And when we stumbled upon each other, I was still trying to look for that one sound that made me like really believe that I wanted to push it and become an artist associated with that kind of sound. And it took me a year and a half to figure out like this is actually what I wanted to play.
Yeah, right.
Just playing like different events around Sydney, like not even just like one specific genre, but like trying to figure out like, oh, I enjoyed that event, or like I enjoyed pushing that sound, and nothing was really clicking. And then like once I found Brad and started to like push not only like UKG but like a bunch of different other sounds as well, like because that's where we've kind of evolved to, is pushing these different sounds that we think that are going to be a staple or like hold a place in the underground scene in the world in general. And eventually finding that, like, I guess being around Brad and being around Entity just helped me realize that like this is the sound I want to push and this is where I want to be. And with Brad's help, I was able to like really develop myself as an artist.
Yeah, okay, that's sick. So sort of like, what's your Brad, like what's your sort of, how did you get influenced by like UKG and stuff? Like, what was like, that's something that you sort of always listen to, or is it?
Yeah, like when I started DJing, I remember like the reason I started DJing was because I was just fed up with the overly commercial state of things, and at the time all my mates were really into like that harder like UK, like it wasn't even really UKG as much as it was like bass house, bassline, but over time like UKG goes hand in hand with that, and as the whole underground scenes developed, that's definitely been the genre to shine through.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, that's something that I started really trying to push with Entity, but also personally, like I've tried to make sure that I've got a good range and that I'm able to play any style that's kind of demanded.
Yeah, right. So like, why, I guess, Jaimie, why did you sort of, why UKG for you as well? Like, what sort of like influenced you besides Brad?
I mean, like, yeah, besides Brad, I mean, I've always been into like grime and like that UK rap scene.
Yeah, right.
And I guess like UK garage and like all the genres that precede that, going into like the harder stuff, they all merge with that grime rap and the UK like drill kind of scene really well, and it kind of just brought two worlds together for me, and I was like, this is what I want to play, this is it. Like it just made sense to me, really. So
do you guys just play UKG like at the moment, or do you sort of play like, what sort of stuff do you play at the moment?
Funnily enough, we always kind of say that we're representing a UKG brand, but our last set together, we played honestly the most mixed bag. Like there was only like one or two actual UKG tracks in there, and the rest of it's been stuff that we've just been really loving at the moment. That's quite experimental, like Baile Funk and Jersey Club, because no one's really doing that.
Yeah, right. So like, yes, I was gonna ask like, what sort of stuff do you sort of like at the moment as well? Like besides what you just mentioned, is there anything else that's sort of influencing your sound?
Yeah, so those Afro beats we found have been quite interesting, and they seem to have a lot of potential, I think, in the long run, as kind of the state techno is in now, as that trend's kind of hitting its peak, that people are going to look for variation, and that's kind of the appeal to that. Also, just anything that isn't just the straight 4 to the floor beats. Yeah, so that's why I think Jersey Club, drill, all that, those genres kind of are a bridging point between the more techie stuff and also the more like rap related stuff.
Yeah, okay. And sort of, I had something, I was about to ask a question, but I've completely forgotten it. But I was going to say, yes, like, Jaime, what are you sort of like? Are you sort of like the same as him? Like, you enjoying the same sort of music?
Yeah, the good thing about Entity and the way we work together is that we have the same vision and we like the same kind of music, and that's why Entity's been able to evolve the way it has. Like, especially, I think Brad would agree that Entity's not just a UKG brand anymore. Like, we push a bunch of different styles and things that we like, that we want to hear, that's based upon like Brad's music taste and my music taste. It reflects what we want to push to Sydney and what we think the direction of the scene's moving in.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I was gonna say like UK, like sorry, not UKG. Entity's got like, is like branded as like UKG, but I was gonna say like, how often do you have UKG artists on, or do you sort of just have any, like, just have like a variety of artists on? Is that sort of like the goal of that?
Well, really, like, if you're anyone who comes to our events would generally experience UKG throughout the whole like start and build up to the headliner generally, and then that's when things get more experimental.
Okay, yeah, right. So you have like UKG as like an opening act.
Yeah, it's kind of like at our core, it's UKG is important, but I think because of the fact that it is so popular now, it's not necessarily as hard hitting or edgy as we would like Entity to be.
Right. Okay. So like the popularity of UKG sort of made you sort of play it less. Is that
not
right?
necessarily play it less, but it's just more getting the right kind of artists over for UKG can be difficult.
Right.
But it's more about pushing what we think Sydney should be listening to next.
Okay.
Like what's next up and what we think people would find really cool, and introducing them to something that they might not necessarily be comfortable with, but are going to end up loving once we show them.
Yeah, actually, it's a cool way to like sort of, so you sort of just like playing stuff that's not popular at the moment, but you think is going to be popular in the future. Like,
yeah,
and mixing it up with obviously what's currently popular. I'm saying,
yeah, exactly.
Playing stuff that's just not popular.
Yeah,
and, like, no one rocks up.
It's kind of
like,
just pushing, like finding the sweet spot between pushing something that they're not comfortable with and like obviously putting on an enjoyable event that people are going to want to come back to.
Yeah. So sort of like, what's been like one of your most memorable moments from like Entity? I guess your 8-month tenure in there, and then obviously your whole involvement within it. Sort of, what's like been a favorite memory of yours? But I would assume it's the 1 year party, like. But is there anything that in particular sort of stands out for you?
What really stands out is like the whole tour with Juicy Selector that we did in April, and yeah, I remember Juicy Selector's been dropped off to my apartment at 9 a.m. on a Saturday after I've been out all night, and I told that he's on his way, and I've called Jaime like, oh, he's coming, you need help. I'm not in a state to deal with this right now. Yeah, and yeah, that was fun, but that whole like 3-4 week period, I remember one weekend we had Melbourne on the Friday and then backed it up with Gold Coast on the Saturday, and that like that weekend in particular was like unreal.
No sleep.
Zero.
No sleep. Yeah, how was that, like, sort of, doing that tour, I guess, for those 3 weeks you were saying? Like, how was that running that? Like, what did you sort of learn? Like, what did you learn through running that tour?
Oh, there was plenty to be learnt about just logistics with booking internationals, because like that was the first time we'd done something like that, and especially organising a tour really tested our ability to communicate with people and also understanding the whole process, because I know visas can be tricky to navigate. So now we're at least comfortable with that, but also just built some really great connections, met some other crews that are like-minded in other cities, and yeah, it's been
Yeah.
great.
Sort of, I guess I always have that question. It's like how, like what actually, like I had Luke Harvey on a while ago, and he runs animal, like he runs my Animal House, but I guess what sort of, I always have that question, like what sort of goes into like actually bring in artists from overseas, and obviously you guys were touring them as well. Obviously Luke was sort of doing just one-off shows, but like what goes into the process of actually touring an artist for those 3 to 4 weeks and organizing stuff with different like promoters and stuff like that, and like events like clubs and stuff like that?
So as soon as we heard back from Juicy that he was keen to come around for a tour, we straight away just started really researching and delving into what else was happening in other cities, and just reached out to a couple, and luckily I think it was only like the first collectives that we kind of had our sights set on working with, that were like really keen to work with us.
Yeah, it was a bit of a smooth process in a way with all like everyone that was working with you.
When it came to other collectives, yeah, they were all pretty like keen to have him over straight away, which was very lucky for us. Especially with Melbourne, the Agata boys, those guys were really helpful and really knew what we were trying to push, and having like-minded people in Gold Coast as well, like Taste Club, everyone that we worked with was really helpful and really wanted to make this happen, and it made it all much easier than it could have been for us.
Yeah. Sort of, do you sort of see yourself touring more artists in the future? Is that something that you want to do, or do you sort of want to just stick to like just one-off events, or like just like those events that you're sort of doing at the moment?
Yeah, we've kind of found ourselves becoming a bit of a touring
brand.
brand. Yeah, because to bring over the artists that we have our sights set on, it's not really something you wait for. Like, you have to actually make it happen, and to justify bringing them all the way down to Australia, then a run of shows is going to be more preferable. So yeah, that's kind of what we've got for the rest of the year to work on, just sorting out a bunch of tours.
Do you have anything planned, or like anything in the works? Obviously you don't have to reveal it, but as yes or no might suffice.
Yeah, there's a few more
okay.
fun things that we've got planned till the end of the year.
Till the end of the year?
Yeah.
A couple of tours?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. That's actually really cool. I'm keen to sort of keep an eye out on that. Obviously, you boys are going to Barcelona on Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday. It's currently Saturday. So 3 days and you guys are in Barcelona. I thought you guys would go on there for like a holiday, but you guys are actually playing in Barcelona. Like, did you sort of get booked, or you sort of like requested to play? Like, what was the process of playing in Barcelona?
Juicy Selector actually reached out to us. Yeah, like we were being on tour with him for a month. We obviously became really close with him, and he just told us, like, as he's just about to leave Australia, I just got offered to run boat parties like myself throughout July in Barcelona, and I really want to bring you boys over. And so we're like, yeah, we can make that happen. And we just booked everything in. Like, he's told the boat company that he's working with that we're coming over, and he's bringing a few more Aussie DJs as well that he met through us as well. Yeah.
Who else is he bringing over? Like, can you say, or is it still a secret?
Yeah, no, we can say, yeah.
If not, we can always cut it out. I can just bleep it
out. I think it's just I don't know if it is confirmed.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah, he had his sights set on Blake to Proc,
Yeah.
Right.
And then the Controller Boys as well, I think we're also interested in heading over, but I'm not sure if any of that's confirmed yet.
Okay.
So.
Well, yeah. After I stop hit record, I'll get you boys to confirm that, so I don't accidentally.
Yeah.
But what's it called? So like, you boys excited? That's your first like obviously international
Yeah.
sort of thing. How are you boys feeling leading up to it? Are you guys nervous? Like obviously, I feel like you'd be excited, but like, what's the nerves? Are there any nerves heading into that?
Not really. Not
Yeah,
really nerves.
honestly-
No, it's actually like we're excited. I guess it's just. I don't think it's really registered that we're about to head off to go play somewhere. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Do you have like how many shows like I guess how many boat parties are you playing on while you're over there?
4, I think.
Yeah.
4, yeah, 4.
Yeah.
Over the span of what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, that should be cool. So then in between, is it like so just boat parties?
Yeah.
So is it like a festival or is it just like individual boat
It's
parties?
just, because of summer, like, there's just
Yeah.
heaps of, obviously, boat stuff going on. So, like, I think we're playing 2 in the one day.
Oh shit.
So we'll I think it's every Friday, and we play like the day one, then the night one. I think we get like 2 or 3 hours break off the boat before we go back on to do the night one after the first
Yeah.
one. So yeah, we
Yeah.
do 2 of those a day, each Friday for 2 weeks.
That should be fun. Do you have anything
Yeah.
planned in between? Are you just gonna do Spain, or are you gonna guys like go somewhere else in Europe while you're over there?
At the moment, it looks like we're just going to be sticking to Spain and really getting to settle in to
Yeah.
the one area. But I mean, we've got a pretty open schedule for the reason that since we've got plenty of mates who will be around, if something does come up, we get around it.
Yeah. Where in Spain? Where in Spain are you playing? Where is it like?
Like right in Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll be
is it Barcelona on the coast? Is it on the coast?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it
it
is.
is,
Oh,
yeah.
shit, I didn't know that. Geez, that should be like, yeah, that should be sick.
Yeah,
Playing in
awesome.
Barcelona. So, like, have you sort of started your planning out your sets for those boat parties, or are you?
Have we?
We've had a casual thought about it. I think it's been more of like a passing kind of thought. Like, we know kind of what we have to play, but not necessarily what we're going to play.
So, what do you have? I'm assuming you have to play a lot more, or is like, I'm assuming you have to play more chill stuff, or are you guys just gonna like play some hard stuff?
Oh well, yeah. We've been told for the day party to keep it a bit more chill, but the night one can be ramped up a bit more. So, yeah.
Okay.
But it's good. It means that we can do the full range.
Yeah, like experiment a bit more.
Yeah.
That should be good. Have you guys sort of had experience playing like sort of like, I guess, tropical, like minimal house, like tech house, or if you sort of just your whole DJing has been just fast, like 140 and above?
No, we both kind of started like at house.
Yeah.
So it's more just returning to it when we've been onto other stuff.
Yeah. So have you played any sort of house sets since? Obviously, you play a lot of Sundays. What sort of music are you playing at those ones? Is it just like, because obviously you're playing a bit earlier in the day for Lost Sundays? Are you playing like a lot slower, a bit like more chill?
Yeah, because like when you're playing first, like the opening DJs for Lost are kind of restricted to a certain just energy level and BPM, just so that they don't get too carried away. Yeah, but it was actually like quite fun, like being put on open playing. Like actually had to go and find stuff that was suited to what was being expected, and yeah, it meant I got to do some digging and finding cool, slow, deep stuff.
Do you think that's like your sort of sound, or do you think you'd always stick to like just like the faster stuff? Like, do you like playing the slower stuff?
I like listening to it, but yeah, when it comes to playing it, I think it's like you still want to make people
Yeah.
dance, and yeah, you can't. I don't think really as open as you're kind of expected to be building a dance floor either, because it's more like when people are arriving, you just kind of keep the vibe in the room.
The ambience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Fire, yeah. So how did you sort of become like a Lost Sundays promoter? Like, did they just message you or you message them? Unless you can't reveal any of that information. I'm not sure how confidential that is.
Oh no, it's not really confidential. I was attending Lost quite religiously, and then eventually got on to talking to a few people who I knew were already promoting, and then they've put me into contact with like the management team at Finely Tuned, and then after a bit of screening, then it was all good.
Yeah. Are you a promoter, Jamie?
No, I'm not.
No. Do you want to be one?
I wouldn't mind being one, but obviously Brad and I kind of have the same audience, so it wouldn't really make sense for me to be a promoter as well.
Yeah.
Like,
what are the perks that you get as a promoter for Lost Sundays?
You get a free entry, and then also you get a discount on drinks, and also you get a guest list of people that you can, of mates that you can bring to the back kind of section with you.
Okay, that's actually sick. Yeah, I thought there'd be like perks and stuff, but that's actually some cool benefits that you get from that.
Yeah, it's been awesome for my networking.
Jumping
on Brad's guest list every week.
Yeah, that'd be actually cool. Who have you sort of been able to meet, like both of you, since you've been able to become a promoter? Like,
so many cool people.
Yeah.
Like so many sick artists. Like I've met like Ewan McVicker, DJ Heartstring, Dom Dollar when he showed up for that the New Year's Day set, like Party Boy 69. An unbelievable amount of like international artists who like I take inspiration from, being able to meet them and talk to them about like their DJing and their producing and like how they've come up as well. It's been so cool.
Yeah. Have you like been able to have like full conversations with them?
Yeah, a lot of the people that I've met, like a lot of the artists have taken the time to actually like speak to me.
Oh, really?
As an artist who's on the come up, trying to do what they're doing, essentially. Like taking like, even if it was like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, like a lot. It's ranged for how long I've talked to them, but like even to take that time to just say something about the industry and about producing has been like super helpful for me. Especially Dom Dollar was really nice and really like kind of took me aside and spoke to me properly about producing and like where his sound is and where he wants to take it.
That's so sick. So like for that Dom Dollar set, obviously it was like a surprise back to back to back. Did you know who was coming up, or were you shocked as well?
No, I was like as shocked as everyone else.
Oh, really?
Like, Party Boy 69 and Dom Dollar kind of just showed up, and then the management was like, "Watch this," and then it just walked up and plugged in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, so like were you in the crowd for that set, or were you like in the back?
I was at the back with Brad, just kind of sitting on the couch, and then one of the management team was like, "Hey, watch this."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you like see them walk up and stuff? That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was probably like one of the highlights of the year, but it was just the first day of the year. Yeah,
Hard the top already.
yeah.
Who have you been able to like meet? Same as like Jaime, or have you sort of met different artists as well? Who's like stood out for you?
I mean, like pretty similar artists. Like probably like Human Movement. Producer I look up to a lot, and had a good talk to him about the way that whole garage and breaks scene is going, and that was pretty sick. And yeah, other times it's also just been cool to at least say hello to artists that you've been listening to for.
Yeah, were you able to catch Morgrave when he was there?
Unfortunately, I think at that time it was just so packed that weekend, and I just didn't get a chance to get close to him. But
have you? So because DJ Heartstring's like one of my favorite artists. How was that? Were you able to interact with them?
Yeah, I was able to interact with them. I don't know about Brad, but I was able to say a few words to the both of them.
Well, what did you say to them?
It was kind of just like they were one of the conversations where it was a bit more in passing. It was about like a minute.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of like that, like 6 set, like trying to ask them about their inspirations, but obviously they were very busy and they get taken away by management to, private areas and things where they can kind of chill out, because once people realize that they're in the back area, like, people try and come up and take photos and things like that. So it's you kind of have to say what you want to say quickly and try and get a response if you want to ask questions, but it's more kind of just like trying to keep it casual and just meet these people that you're looking up to, really.
Yeah, so like people like legit just like swarm the back as soon as the artist sort of comes off. Is that what you're saying, or is it more just like everyone that's in the back?
It used to be the back was open for anyone, but after they've kind of seen a lot of people, the bigger artists as well, get swarmed by people, they put a security guard there. So
I noticed that like they've closed off that back, because I remember my first Sundays I went and we could go all the way to the back, but now it was like sort of like, I guess, a boiler room. I guess I use that term very loosely because I know no one likes hearing the word boiler room just for a simple 360 set, but it was like that sort of like set, but they sort of closed it off, and that's like the main reason, because they've realized that like artists just get absolutely swarmed with like fans.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. So like now at the back is just for like promoters and VIPs, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, okay. And were you sort of, I guess, is there anyone else that you sort of met over the course of like both of you have met that you've sort of been a highlight?
We went and saw Interplanetary Criminal and Main Phase, and this was just like Tuesday night at Club 77.
Tuesday night at Club 77.
Yeah, and stayed right to the end, and then had a good chat with the two of them and got a photo with them, and that was pretty sick.
Was that before? When was that?
This was their
2 days after Interplanetary Criminals Lost Sundays. The last one with Fortet.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, and how was that conversation with him? What did you guys talk about?
We asked them if they're coming back. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say what they said, but yeah.
Was that before pitch or after pitch?
This was after pitch. It would have been after pitch.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. I didn't even realize he played a lot of Sundays. I knew remember that Fortet play, but I don't remember. Did Interplanetary Criminal play in the same
lineup?
Yeah, played after him.
I don't remember seeing his name at all. I just remember seeing. I think Fortet sort of just like made everything blurred everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you go to the Lost Sundays for the Fortet one?
Yeah.
Did you get to meet him?
We did at that point. I think
I didn't. I went to try and speak to him, but he was surrounded by finely tuned management, and I kind of got given that kind of look where it's like, not now kind of thing, and I just went, yeah, fair enough, and just kind of walked away. But when IPC got on, Main Phase was just like standing next to me, and I had no idea he was just standing there. I just turned to my left and went, oh, okay, Main Phase. And then I had a really good chat with him. He's a really nice bloke.
Yeah.
Like, spoke about like what it's like living in Europe and being coming up in Europe, especially like the hub that it is for underground music, like, and differentiating yourself between like probably every other artist that is trying to push the same thing as you. And he had some really good pointers just about producing and being your own artist.
Yeah, I guess going on that, since you boys have been able to meet like so many like sick artists, what have you been able to like how have you been able to learn from those interactions? Like, even though some of them may be very small, some of them you might have like massive conversations like you said, like what have you been able to sort of learn and take away and then put into your own music and sound as well? Like,
interestingly enough, it kind of seems like when you talk to them, and this isn't all producers, but quite a lot of them give off that attitude that even they aren't really sure what they're doing, but they're just disciplined enough to keep at it.
Yeah, right.
But like when they're talking about tracks, we're like, oh, I don't know what I was doing with that. It just kind of happened and it's worked out. So yeah, it's I guess it's inspiring to know that you don't really need
no one really has an idea.
No, yeah, that sometimes like you'll just get an idea eventually if you keep at it.
Yeah, and what about you? What have you been able to sort of take away from meeting all these like massive artists?
I mean, yeah, like similar to Brad in the way that like people stumble upon like the biggest hits that they've created just completely accidentally and having no idea like how it came about. But like once you're in that space, just being able to like essentially push through, because producing is really like intricate and can take a lot of time and can really frustrate you. And so just being able to be consistent about pushing through, like, and finding like, I guess, a nook in the sound and trying to fill that void where there wasn't someone pushing that particular aspect of that entire genre. Like just finding a tiny little crack in the market where you can push and try and open it up to get bigger, I guess.
Sort of, yeah, I guess. Do you boys produce your own? Have you boys released any tracks, or have you boys produced any music as of late, or are you guys in the process of producing?
Still in the process.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've made a couple tracks, but they're not really
I don't like anything that I have.
anywhere near the standard that that matches kind of what I want to be able to play. But yeah, it is a process.
Yeah. Sort of, yeah. How different is it, like DJing and obviously producing? Like obviously saying you don't like any of the stuff, but you have. Is that because you're just super critical of yourself, or is that because, like, I don't know, like you generally just believe that it's not up to scratch?
I guess when you have high standards, then and you're trying to sound like or similar to certain artists, and you just sometimes it's just a matter of like being able to make stuff that sounds that like your favorite artists is something that takes time.
Yeah. And well, you, Jamie, have you sort of like, have you been a bit more too critical on yourself, do you reckon, or do you think
I mean, yeah, like I'm very critical of my own sound, and I guess I'd have no idea about whether or not it's actually a good track because I listen to it and I go, oh yeah, no, that's going in the bin, or like just like make a few more tracks and just like feel like it's almost there and it's missing something, and then it'll get like backburned because I have another idea and I'll try and come back to it and try and figure out what I'm missing from that track, but a few weeks after, because I'll try and find it with fresh eyes and work on something else, so that if I do come back to it and I think, oh, that would actually sound much better than this, I just like can sometimes find myself going in a circle with my producing.
Yeah.
Like just not, I need to show it to someone else. Like I need to actually like give it to like my mates and just hear them listen to it. But I'm scared that they're gonna have like a biased opinion because they are my mates and they're gonna say like, oh, it's sick. But it's kind of a circle of being self-critical.
It's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good to get it out even to your friends though, because like at the end of the day, if your friends would listen to the same stuff as you do.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I feel like if they're good friends, they'll tell you it's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they won't let you put it out. But I feel like, I feel like showing it to you. Obviously, I can't say it because I don't produce my music, but I don't know how it feels and like stuff like that. So I'd imagine it'd be very nerve-wracking just to even produce a track and like want to show people. But like, what sort of music are you guys producing? Like, are you doing that sort of UKG, or are you sort of just trying
mixed
out
bag?
Trying out different things.
Yeah. Like initially, it was more UKG and like more like housey stuff even. But as my taste has now shifted, there's still plenty of genres that I would actually like to try to make more.
Just got to find sound.
Yeah.
Like you're sort of just still trying to, in the process of finding it. Is there anything in particular that you're drawn to, or are you still sort of just constantly experimenting?
Well, yeah, I mean, lately I'm really drawn to just really, like offbeat rhythms in drums. So, stuff like Jersey Club and electro breaks.
Yeah, right.
That kind of stuff I've just find very interesting just because of how complex you can make it.
And is there anything that you're sort of drawn to, or are you sort of again just experimenting with everything?
I mean, yeah, I've experimented with a few different kinds of sounds, but the stuff that I found myself producing a couple of times is like ghetto tech. So I've made like a few edits that I would say is slightly okay for my standards, but I've tried to mix it around a little bit, make like two-step tracks and stuff like that. It's just all stuff that I haven't even shown Brad yet. Like it's just sitting in my laptop, like just trying to put finishing touches on it, and yeah, stuff that I could play as an opening DJ and stuff that I can play as a closing DJ, stuff that I can play like at any point in the lineup.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of where I'm sitting at the moment, because I want to be able to play my own tracks at kind of whatever set I get given.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be really cool.
So you want to sort of have one track that you can play wherever, or do you want to have like multiple tracks that you can play?
Oh, just multiple like, because they all want different vibes, and like, I guess because I can't just nail down one sound. Like I am leaning towards ghetto tech a little bit, but all the stuff that I'm trying to produce, I want to be able to play like a different track for a different set wherever I'm put for whatever event. Like I've got one for each kind of slot.
Okay, that's actually probably a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Sort of, I guess, going back to Barcelona, like, what's your, I guess, goals? Are you sort of going there, like, with the intention of networking, or do you sort of just want to, like, just enjoy your time there? Like, were you, I don't know if you boys have thought about it at the moment or not, but, like what's the sort of your intentions with going to Barcelona? Because how quickly did you guys find out that you guys are going to Barcelona? Like, when did you boys find that out?
Pretty much as GC was leaving, like at the end of April, he brought it up with us and said that he'd get back to confirm, and then only, I think, at some point, end of May, I think, he was like, yep, it's all a go. Hurry up and book your plane tickets. Yeah. So, yeah.
Is it all paid? Is it like, all like, are you guys getting flown out and stuff and put in rooms, or is it sort of self-funded?
It is self-funded, but we are getting paid for the actual sets, and really, like, we're seeing it as just an investment.
Yeah, of course.
Just having a international gig just on the resume.
Yeah,
just looks good.
That'd be sick. Yeah,
I think that's fun.
I think that's honestly super sick that you always able to play like Barcelona, and like you've got it through like just what you've done with Entity, like that touring part, and you've sort of been able to leverage that, and now you guys are playing in Barcelona, which is like sick. Some people don't even get to play international after like 2 years of playing in like Australia, and you boys are doing it, you know, so soon, which I think is super sick. I guess what are your goals with Barcelona? Do you sort of want to go there more and push Entity and push your sound, or do you sort of want to just go there and enjoy your time away from Sydney?
I think it's a bit of both, honestly. Like, I mean, if we do get an opportunity to network and just like get to know the right people in the right places, I think it's more what I'd be looking for. Especially because Juicy's a well-connected artist, and if we meet someone else who he's good mates with and is like-minded, especially through his like Project Radio. He's got a radio show on Project Radio, right. And a lot of the artists there are really like-minded to us, and if he introduces us to a few of them, like, then obviously we'll rub shoulders and have fun. But the whole kind of trip, I guess, is just a bit of both. Like, we still want to enjoy ourselves. It's not entirely business. Like, it's Euro summer. Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to Europe anytime like after Barcelona, or is that sort of your only trip you've got planned?
No, that's the only trip we've got planned. Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good trip, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I got to get back to Sydney because I'm booked for a few things anyways, so I can't stay for too long.
Yeah. No, that's good though. It's like at least you're coming back with stuff to do.
Yeah.
Like, some people are going away and stuff, so it'll be good. I think, it's been a good chat. I hope you boys have enjoyed it, obviously. But I've enjoyed having a chat with you boys. Heaps of obviously interesting things. As you said, there's a lot of things coming up with Entity as well, the tours. I'm sure we haven't mentioned anything, but we won't mention anything just to keep it, on the down low. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking to me, and hopefully everyone that's watching and listening enjoys the episode, because there was a lot of cool things that we talked about. So obviously, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, share them with all your friends. It helps the show. Make sure you follow Jaime and Brad on Instagram, on their Instagram handles, and then also Entity. I'll link them in the description below. Make sure you guys give them a follow. But besides that, thanks Brad and Jaime for coming on, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.